think we caught MK eating.
I think everybody's muted, but me and you.
All right, let's start that again.
There it is.
Can you hear me?
All right, MK, you are live.
Thanks, Jackson.
Yeah, you were muted.
By who?
I don't know. Just
by you.
I'm not muted on my end. Do the show. We're late.
We're professionals here.
I quit. Hello, Frog fans.
Signing off. Go Frogs.
Welcome to Postgame Beers Podcast. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I'm your host, Kyle Malloy, at YellMK on Twitter, joined by my co-host, Jacob Sailors, at JD Sailors. We've got the full crew tonight. Our producer, Crazy Ray Cartwright, is in attendance, barely. The Sultan of Stat, Martin Guerrero, also here. And our ex-clown, Garrett Evans, in the studio tonight. Jacob, we are almost single-digit days away from opening day, but I hear you're our big home repair guy, our big home repair boy. Tell us about it.
Man, all right. So thanks for reminding me. So, yeah, I spent a good majority of the weekend up at my mom and dad's, and we were in their living room. We were taking down the paint on the wall. And I could go into detail about how excruciating that is, but you guys have homes or have lived in homes. What is the most excruciating home ownership, DIY, or whatever project you've done? Because this, besides taking up tile, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh my goodness.
Top two, I wouldn't say they're excruciating in terms of like the worst experience, but top two hardest was replacing multiple toilets. That was pretty bad. Another one was removing the popcorn from the ceiling, which sounds kind of similar to what you were doing.
Right. Yeah. So these were like, it was a textured wall, right? So there's these chunks that you have to go through and scrape off. And the living room's huge. And then behind that, you got to go and actually take all the paint off. And then we haven't even gotten close to finishing that before we have to sand and put the paint on. Just a monstrous task that's going to probably take me most of the baseball season. So no, I'm kidding. I'll be there.
Yeah. For me, picking up the phone and calling maintenance, that's excruciating.
Ray's it's a weird mic night for Ray, I guess. We're back.
Weird mic night for Ray, and I don't think that was the illness talking. So,
you know what? It would help.
Hey, Martin,
plug my.
Yeah, I saw you smoked a brisket. You want to tell us about it?
Oh yeah, I got me a new smoker.
What kind?
It is a Pit Boss pellet grill.
Yeah.
So it's not the free Traeger from like 750,000 reward points for Zens.
Oh no, no, dude,
He's elite
that's
member
a lot of
status.
them points. I want to know somebody who has that. Like,
no,
that.
It takes you about 15 years to get enough points for a free Traeger.
Hold on, I'm out of the loop here. Tell me about the reward program with Zen.
Zen, right? They have these QR codes, and you can collect points. And it's 15 points per can, and the Traeger is like 750,000.
How do I get the metal Zen 10?
That's
pretty dope.
Like 1,000 points or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Martin, this leads me to believe that
they're never going to go back.
It feels like they're encouraging bad behavior, but they wouldn't do that, would they?
These are healthy.
Yeah,
what you mean?
Yeah, ask Chuck Schumer what he thinks.
All right, real quick before we get to the fun stuff, we are at Lupton Beers on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and the Talk. Proudly brought to you by Hell's Half Acre Stadium Goods. Head to Hell's Half Acre SG/Lupton Drinking Club to grab your quarter zips, your polos for the baseball season. If you don't need any new gear, that's fine. I get it. But you should head to the website anyway, because you'll get a glimpse of Carson Bowen modeling the merch. And so, ladies, if you're out there listening, it's a pretty sweet pick. There's also a Hypnotoad flag. I was surprised by the price of the Hypnotoad flag, only $36, which I thought was a steal. So,
dude, have you seen the new quarter zips?
They're great. Tell me about it more specifically, because I've got one of them, but I don't think I have the new one.
Well, hang on. I can share my screen if you can vamp for a couple seconds. Martin, they also have a Fort Worth Cats new arrival.
I have it.
Oh, you do?
They've also got a Emmanuel Miller T-shirt and long sleeve. Is that right?
Yeah, hold on. I'm moving a little slow here, but just give me 1 second. I will share my screen.
Our streamers dropping by the second. This is fantastic.
No. We keep adding. We keep adding.
There we go.
There it is.
Look at that beautiful quarter zip.
Check out those quarter zips. Those are so sweet. You got the purple lining on the inside. Yeah, so if you're listening to our, I guess, audio only, you definitely need to go to hellshalfacresg.com/Lupton Drinking Club and check these out.
That might be good for the blackouts, that we got typically in football, but occasionally they'll throw one on for basketball as well.
Shoot, man, those Tuesday night games where it's like, 40 degrees.
Dude, so on my way home from work, I drive right by the stadium. The lights were on, the scoreboard was on. I had it was that mix of emotions of like, wait, is there a game tonight? Like, I had to think about it for a second, and we're like, we are so close to frog ball.
Yeah, how many days, Martin?
10. Well, less than 10, right?
Yeah, today is the 10th day away. So
9.5.
I hope Connor Shepard is tomorrow's countdown figure.
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Last week, we spent 80 minutes talking about pitchers because that's how many freaking pitchers we have. We have 80 of them, and we had to spend 1 minute each on each pitcher. Tonight, we're going to break down the offensive lineup, some other positions on the defensive side. We are excited to talk about what's in store for the 2024 Frog Ball team, but we cannot skip over the fact that we have to talk about the losses from last year. All right, so let's mention some outgoing production. We've got a number of players, and Ray, I'm going to head over to you to list them and talk about what we're losing from last year.
Well, first off, do I sound much better?
I'm going to go 50% on that.
TBD.
Oh, okay. So last year, of course, incredible year for the Frogs, especially home run wise. Do you realize this team in 2023 hit 89 home runs as a team?
And in context, how does that compare?
I'm glad you asked. In 20, they hit 62. In 21, they
Are we going to be able to survive this from Ray?
I don't know.
Okay.
The problem, Ray, is we hit about 80% of it, but they were missing like the number that you said. So it's like it's a big piece of that sentence.
First name.
Okay, take 3.
Here, hold on. Let me do this.
What he's trying to say, well, I'm going to vamp for Ray for a second, is that the name that we kind of have to start and end with when you're talking about outgoing production is none other than David Bishop. This guy
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay, yeah. Y'all got me. Sorry about that. Better.
Yeah, I just wrapped up our segment on David Bishop, the biggest loss from last year.
Yeah, so he stole your David Bishop thunder.
Yeah, I had David Bishop, Mason Speaker, and Owen Blackledge as huge losses.
What are we
from
doing?
Last year's team.
Good Frogs, man. Good Frogs.
They are good for damn good Frogs. But back to my home runs point, right?
Yeah.
89 in 23, 62 in 22, 61 in 21. In 2019, they hit 65. In 2018, they only hit 39 home runs. What a miserable year that must have been.
Is there a background on changing bats or balls around that year? Did something happen?
So when we talked to Ben Upton, he talked about the baseballs are juiced now.
There you go. I think home runs across the country were up last year. I don't have anything to back that up, but a lot of talk about juiced baseballs potentially. I don't know, but still.
Yeah. But to jump from 62 to 89 is a huge increase in home run production.
Hey, Ray, in context, the most that they've ever hit in a season is the most they've ever hit in a season is 101 in 2010. That's the team record. So 89, that's pretty close to 101.
And those were the BESR bats back in the day.
And in the Mountain West.
Bats. Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to find out if that changes with BYU, Utah. Colorado doesn't have a team, but
So how many home runs are going out the door then?
53 of those 89 are wiped off the board from last year. That's about roughly 60% of your home run production. I did the last 2 years prior. In 2022, they lost 48% of their home run production. And in 21, their big, what was that big super senior COVID class or whatever? I saw like Shepherds and all them go. That was 59%. So almost similar to this year's squad. 60% of those home runs are gone. I added up all of their total bases that are gone. And so what I'm factoring in, I just added up Braden Taylor, Cole Fontenelle, Elijah Nunez, Trey Richardson, and Austin Davis. Those are the big key frogs that are gone from this lineup. And we didn't mention RIP to Bishop, Speaker, and Blackledge. They didn't really contribute offensively. Bishop tried his little heart the first couple of weeks of the season, but it just never didn't work for the little buddy.
Yeah, really, really weird what happened there.
So of those major losses, this is what I've added up, right? So of your total bases last year, those 5 players accounted for 650 of, I think it was like an 1,100 or so. It came out to 58% of your total bases are gone. Stolen bases, which is even bigger, because this team was relatively known for being able to swipe a bag whenever they wanted to, right?
Yep.
This team is losing 72% of its stolen bases from last year. It's kind of weird whenever you look at it. Cole Fontenelle had 20 stolen bases. Elijah Nunez, 20 stolen bases. Trey Richardson, 25 stolen bases.
Hey,
And then Austin Davis.
You want an interesting fact about Trey Richardson and those 45 stolen bases? So he spent 2+ years over at Baylor because of the COVID season. Y'all want to guess how many stolen bases he had?
24.
Probably like 10.
So he was a starter for both years, Martin?
He was a starter for both years, and then I think he played like 10 games COVID season.
I was going to say
like 10 combined.
10 to 15 a year? I'd say a year.
He had 15 total.
That's about right.
About like 7. So what I'm getting at is I think we're still going to have – I think the stolen bases is more of a culture, offensive strategy type thing. So I think no matter who we bring in, they're going to have big stolen base numbers.
I know we're going to get to returning starters next, but I was surprised to see that Carson Bowen had 9 stolen bases. I don't remember any one of those last year.
And it's not like they are a fast team, but the way they teach base running and how many attempts they have, like they always told us growing up, it's not about how fast you are, it's about how good of a base runner you are. And they just produce really good base runners. Like Cole Fontenelle's not the fastest guy in the world, but if he's able to pick his spots, get a good lead, and read a pitcher, you can make up for any lack of speed. It just so happens some of these guys also are pretty fast.
Dude, yeah, TCU was incredible on the base paths last year. In 164 stolen base attempts, they were successful 141 times.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
That's a damn good percentage. I just did some other percentages real quick of what we're missing. We're going to be missing 58% of our RBIs, 54%, only 54% of our total at bats, and 59% of our walks from these key 5 guys that won't be in the lineup of next year.
And we really should just highlight Braden Taylor out of this.
Braden Taylor, 23 home runs, just an incredible frog. I mean, just one of the greatest ever, right?
Well, you want to hear a fun fact about Braden Taylor?
I
have his career trend for ops. In his freshman year, late in the season, he dropped to 974. which is still incredible.
Garbage.
Yeah.
He finished the season. He finished the season at 1,024, which is like, all Big 12, almost all American. It's an incredible number. His career ops did not dip below 1,000 for the rest of his 2+ years at TCU.
It's pretty dang good. And that's with you remember last year he kind of got off to a slow start.
Yeah, so last year his low point was a 1.003 op, so 1,003.
Which is crazy because, anecdotally, it felt worse than that, right? When the team was losing, and the first half of the season, you're like, "Man, where's Braden Taylor?" But he was just that guy the entire year. It's just hard to see when we're not.
Yeah. So last year, towards the end of the year, his slugging he broke the home run records at TCU, but his on-base percentage dipped slightly. Like he was taking fewer walks and hitting for more power, so he was striking out a little more. But dude's an All-American. He's probably, top 3 position player the school's ever had.
He is up there with your Carpenters and Huffmans of the world.
Exactly.
He's the only first-round draft pick they've had as a position player.
Right. So, yeah, between him and Cole Fontenelle, it does give me a little concern going into this year because that is just so much production to replace. I don't care how good your transfer portal is. I don't care how good the guys are coming back. Just those 2 guys alone in the middle of your lineup, man, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, Cole Fontenelle season kind of got lost in the sauce last year.
It really did.
Hit 352 with a 1.112 ops. Dude slugged almost 650. That's incredible.
And I've forgotten this, but he didn't start the year as a starter.
No. And he played, they moved him around a lot, right? He played some third base when Braden Taylor got hurt. He played the outfield some.
Dude, he was walking over 20% of the time. For a power hitter, man, yeah.
You know what's crazy? So you think of Trey Richardson, you think of Trey Day last year at Arkansas, 3 home runs. He hit 6 on the year.
I know. Yeah.
That is funny. He had pancakes. So what can you say? So you got 5 guys that are exiting, major contributors to the lineup. We've got, looks like 5 that are coming back and 5 that are also.
Well, we should also pay homage to Elijah Nunez.
Heck yeah. Not just offensively, but man, his defensive prowess was incredible. Controlling center field.
He was a wire-to-wire starter.
No fly zone out there in center field.
One of the best leadoff guys we've had.
Yeah. Cody Jones up there. There's been a lot of guys we've had in the leadoff spot. But yes.
And he did a really good job of cutting down on his strikeouts as his college career progressed.
Let's see.
I'm curious about his walks because I feel like he was much more patient last year, right?
Yeah, you would be wrong. Actually, he had the lowest. He finished the year with his lowest walk rate of his career.
Interesting.
He peaked towards the end of 2022. Let's see. I need to include 2020. Yeah, 2021, dude. Early on, he was walking almost 30%.
Maybe I'm thinking of the fact that in the first half of the season, he struggled just in general, behind the plate. And then he really picked it up and turned it on, towards the end of the season.
Yeah. His walk rate declined, but his ops steadily increased over the course of last year. So he was hitting the ball better. He was swinging at more pitches because his strikeouts were up, walks were down, but his ops was higher. So
his 2022 season is the most walks in a season all time for a Horned Frog.
Yeah. With all this production that's outgoing, it made me think Martin brought up a good point. I don't know if this was in the group chat or just whatever about how colleges are designed to turn over talent? Because we look at a team, they're like, oh my goodness, they lost so much. Martin, can you expand a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I was just I think it was last night, it was just me and you, but college baseball is like the sport for replacing production, right? I mean, you have a draft that drafts guys that have only been at your program, 2 to 3 years. You got guys graduating. You got it's not like football where you usually get a guy, they go through the program for 4 years and then they're gone. There's a lot more movement in college baseball. Like guys, they're not on full scholarship, so they, a lot of times you have guys who play only 1 year and then they leave to a JUCO or something. And so, I mean, replacing production is kind of normal in college baseball, is what I was trying to say.
It is, but I think it's important to talk about because, like we want to just kind of give these guys one more shout out on their way out the door, but also just understand that it's not like where we finished last year is the starting point and now we're just going to add guys and get better. Like it's steps back and then you want to at least try to get back to where you were last year or even better. But I mean, it is important to, when you're framing the context of the team overall, to understand it's not just adding guys, but it's losing guys too. So 2 sides of the coin.
D1, obviously, and others were consensus, 5 or 6 in the nation at this point. What percentage of that do you guys think it's pitching versus this lineup here?
50-50?
Yeah, I would go 50-52 because I think they're both really good on both sides.
Yeah. That would be what I would say it is. Just from studying this team, I'm as confident in pitching as I am the position players.
Yeah,
maybe
between the guys coming back, but the acquisitions, like it's pro ball, like the transfers that have came in. Holes have been filled, right? And it's not disrespect to the guys that have.
Or have they? We'll find out later in the podcast. But yeah, let's Ray, did you have any other quick notes? We got to get over to Martin.
No, I didn't. I wanted to segue into Martin bringing up about just talking about returning or losing production as normal in college.
There you go.
Yeah.
Martin,
segue completed. So obviously we're talking returning production. We got to start with Anthony Silva, the Tejano Tornado. And everybody's muted right now, so it feels like I'm talking to myself. So yeah, Tejano Tornado. I like that
nickname.
I like that a lot. Put it on a T-shirt, Martin.
Because he's from San Antonio. He's
Hell's Half Acre.
What'd I miss? No, I'm kidding. Keep going.
A nickname for Anthony Silva, the Tejano Tornado.
Dude, yes.
So obviously, last year he had a huge season. He had 330 on base, 416, and slug 471. He was a first team freshman All-American, second team All Big 12, Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Helped lead TCU, to Omaha. He was, dude, I think he's one of the greatest defensive shortstop TCU has had.
As a freshman.
Boy,
as a freshman.
Yeah, that's a good question. Ooh. My memory goes back as far as Taylor Featherston, who was, from what I remember, I could be very wrong here, but I thought he made outstanding plays, but sometimes struggled with routine plays. Then you had Ryan Merrill, was he next? Or no, Keaton Jones, dude, he was probably the best defensive shortstop we had. But he was hope he gets a walk at the plate kind of guy. Yeah. And then you had Ryan Merrill, who was the opposite, probably one of the better hitting shortstops we had, but you're holding your breath when the ball's hit to him sometimes.
I mean, when I see Anthony Silva, I think he makes all the regular plays, and he can also make spectacular plays.
Tommy Sacco was pretty good.
Dude.
Tommy Sacco was pretty good. I still give the edge to Silva.
Martin, you brought up a great point. It's not the regular plays, which unfortunately we expect. We expect those to be made on every ground ball, but his SE, Sports Center top 10 plays, man, those are fun to watch.
I mean, in Omaha, we had he's going to his left, stretching out, does the tornado, and then guns it to first.
When you had the broadcast crew that pretty much gave up on the play and conceded the hit.
Yep.
And they were like, did he get him? Whoa.
On the biggest stage in college baseball. So he has been raking in the preseason awards. He was named All Big 12 selection, first team All-American by Perfect Game, second team All-American by Baseball America, and third team All-American by D1 Baseball. Everybody, I guess if you didn't know this, he's a sophomore eligible. He's a sophomore eligible draftee, so he's eligible for the MLB draft this year. I think he's like a consensus top 50 pick. So if he has another big year, you could see him becoming the second TCU Horned Frog drafted in the first round.
So one thing that if you wanted to play devil's advocate with Silva is you fear the sophomore slump. One reason I don't with Silva is because his strikeout rate is so low. Like he makes such good contact. He doesn't really walk a lot, but he doesn't strike out either. So if you had a guy who with higher strikeout rates, then maybe you could see a potential slump at the plate. But if a guy's just excellent at making contact, I don't see why that can't continue into a sophomore year or even improve.
Yeah, I think Silva has one of the highest floors out of like big time, MLB draft guys, because he's not, we talk about his defense. He makes all the routine plays. Well, there's some guys out there who seems like they only make the flashy plays.
Right.
Like Elvis Andrews when he was coming up. And then with the offense, like you said, he doesn't strike out a lot. He hits the ball the other way. He does it with some pop. He's not like a 30 home run guy, but
no.
With those 30 home run guys, you have holes in the swing. They're striking out 30% of the time or something like that. Whereas, Silva, I think he's really safe.
Yeah.
With the high floor.
High floor is a good way to describe it.
Martin, question for you. What is the biggest weakness for Silva?
As far as being in that upper echelon of college baseball players is probably the slugging.
Yeah.
Although watching him over the fall, I think he has taken a step in the right direction as far as becoming more of an offensive weapon for TCU. Because as you remember last year, he was hitting at the bottom of the lineup like a majority of the year. It was kind of like he was in a position of just flip the lineup, keep it going. Whereas this year, I think he's going to be in the middle of the lineup. He's going to be seen as a run producing guy. Period.
Okay. I was waiting for you to wrap up your point there. Keep going. Come on, we're live. Yes. This is your segment.
That's it. The slugging. If he can.
All right. That's enough.
No. Yeah, we're good on Silva. He's the next greatest player in TCU baseball history. After that, who else do we have returning?
Obviously, we got to talk about Carson Bowen.
Okay.
So last year, I just like Cole Fontenelle, I forget he wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year. He ended up starting 55 games for TCU, and you kind of forgot about that he wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year. I was surprised about how much he strikes out. Strikes out about 20% of the time, but
Well,
I
on that note, he did get better as the year went on. I mean, he was
yeah.
around 22, 23% for a good portion of the year. In the last like third of the season, he went from 21.5 to 19.5. So at least he was going in the right direction.
Right, and that's with not even playing against midweek teams late in the year, like against UTRGV, Texas State, Lamar. Like those were games where he could have, padded his stats, but they sat him, and he still hit 350 on the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had an ops over 900, which was pretty consistent for majority of the year. It wasn't like he just had a big spike. So he was very solid there. And I love what you always say about him, how when you watch him hit, it looks like Michael Young. Because now when I watch the highlights, like that's what I see.
Doesn't he look like Michael Young? Like he's always, his whole approach is going the other way. And then the way he kind of like drags that bat as he's running out of the box.
Yes.
I watched him the other day when I was at practice, they were doing a hitting drill where how they have hitting groups and they split up in hitting groups, and so the first guy lays down a bunt, second guy hit and run, third guy I think it was up the middle, and then the fourth guy, I think his job was to bring in a run from second with less than 2 outs, right?
Right.
And so Carson's doing the hit and run, and dude, I swear, if you hung a plate like a just a glass plate between second base and first base, I think he could hit it. I think he could hit a ball and hit a plate like target practice.
Let's get Dude Perfect out here and set it up.
Yeah. I really like Carson, and then obviously he's like a Gold Glove catcher, which is a big difference between, he hasn't won or he hasn't been named like to any All-American teams.
Yeah, there's other guys in the country that hit for more power than him, and that's kind of what these ranking systems value the most, which for good reason. But if you're evaluating catchers overall, like the kid from Stanford, how many games does he play at first base?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that they overvalue power when these guys aren't even catching.
Yeah.
Like
they have Kevin Bazell as like the number 3 catcher in the country, and he hasn't caught a game in college.
Yeah, he was third baseman,
And that's not like moving from like second to short. That's moving. That's a whole different sport you're playing when you're moving.
Yeah. I mean, having the catching gear on and putting it on and taking it off and being kneeled down all game, like all that stuff affects your offense. That's why Bryce Harper moved to the outfield as soon as he was drafted.
Exactly.
So I think we glossed over the fact that Carson wasn't necessarily projected to be the starter last year. Now, obviously better catcher. He may have taken that role at some point, but in game 2 or when did he take over based on Curtis's injury? I mean, it was early.
He missed the Vanderbilt game, but he played against Arkansas and Mizzou.
Earlier than expected is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think the plan was for him to basically catch 50-50.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then when Curtis went down, he was catching basically every game. And then once Curtis came back, like I said, he was they were trying to get him some days off, and he was missing the games against, the guys that you pad your stats against, like Lamar, and then they end up losing a lot of those games down the stretch. Yeah. They lost to Lamar. They lost a game to Texas State that Carson wasn't playing in. And
common denominator, he wasn't in the lineup.
I don't know if they saw him as such a productive offensive player as he turned out to be. I mean, if they said this is who this guy's going to be, then he would have been the no shit number 1 catcher. And that's no knock on Curtis. That's just, Curtis is a good catcher, but Carson is like elite. nationwide.
Yeah, you think of in the super regionals that backpick play against Indiana State.
As seen on Hell's Half Acres Instagram.
Bingo.
You want to transition to Curtis now, Martin, or do you want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, how do you know? You have my list in front of you?
Well,
how did you know we're going to talk
pretty
about
logical, but please continue.
Yeah.
There's a mirror behind you. I can kind of see your screen.
We got some
Nice.
echo, boys. We need to figure out this echo. Okay, I think it's gone now since Ray muted.
I've been muted. For the record, I've been muted. This slander against my name will not be tolerated.
All right, go on.
All right, so most people know Curtis. He's been here since 2020. He was our starting catcher in 2022 and 2023, which is kind of weird. 2022, it started with Petrie was the starting catcher opening day, and then he gets hurt opening day, and Curtis takes over, and we kind of had the same thing last year with Curtis having an injury and Carson becoming the starting catcher all year. Good bat. Let's see. In his entire career at TCU, he's hit 283 with a 357 on base and a 458 slugging. He came on huge after he came back last year from his injury. He was like the leading RBI man in the country for like a couple months.
I mean, we've said it so many times, dude. You look at back in the month of May and going into June, Curtis's reason, 1A, 1B, 1C, whatever, for the reason why, because that DH spot was such a problem for us. And then he just came in and became like the best DH in the conference.
Dude, yeah, Curtis's tear since the start of May, his batting average rose. It had to rise like 40 to 50 points. Like he was hitting like around 240, and then all of a sudden he's around a 300 hitter going into.
I got one for you. So around the beginning of May, his career slug was 422. He finished the season. Well, he peaked at 483, finished the season at 472. So like 50 points added to his slug in that run we had in May.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point, Ray, May 1st, he was batting 229 against Texas, and he ended up with a 285 batting average.
Yep. With power.
What a massive addition to the postseason play, and I mean, all the stuff he added in regionals and supers and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. What is that? 7 weeks? In 7 weeks. And he was up to 297.
Yeah. So I know we'll talk, I'll save it for when we talk lineup and whatever, but just the fact that going into this year, the plan is again for them to split time behind the plate. But
yeah,
we'll get into more of that. Let's finish off these players.
Last thought on Curtis, over the fall, he looks extremely healthy, and he looks like he's going to take a step further with the offense.
Didn't he look light on his feet?
Yeah, dude, he looked extremely like the most athletic he's ever looked. I don't know, maybe
the most athletic a Curtis Byrne could look, because I mean, honestly, he's not the fastest guy.
He probably didn't like getting thrown out.
Kirk likes joking about that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, I know we're trying to move on, but Curtis listed as a utility player, not as a catcher.
It fits.
I think he's going to play multiple positions.
All right.
First base, DH, and catcher are multiple positions.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Let's move on.
Do you want to guess who the next guy is?
Yes. Martin, you need to automate a little bit.
No, I wanted to see if Kyle would go 4 for 4.
I've got Brody Green next up.
No, I got Logan Maxwell.
I was going to say Logan Maxwell.
I had Logan Maxwell.
I was looking for potential, not necessarily guys that we know as well. So, but yeah, go for it.
What do you mean? Logan Maxwell's both.
He really is both.
I really like Logan Maxwell, and I think everybody on this podcast really likes Logan Maxwell. 2 years ago in 2022, he was hitting 194, and I think everybody on this podcast was like, could see that he had some bad luck, but he was still a good player. We saw it over the fall. So it was the fall before his freshman year. He was like the Fall American that year, the Fall Star.
Yeah, I think his chart's worth sharing.
I like these. The Fall American Fall Star. We gotta.
Dude,
Yeah.
just look at the improvement over, especially last year, which you see in that orange bar.
So Jacob, when I'm an audio listener, gonna listen to this tomorrow. What am I hearing and looking at, or what should I be envisioning in my mind?
I mean, the story here is just how much he got better each game last year. You know, and a lot of that has to do. He has a lot of talent. We all know that. You don't even come to this school unless you have a lot of talent. But staying healthy and getting routine at bats, I like. You see his ops and everything just continue to go up throughout the year. Let's check out. Okay, so we got his walks were down. He strikes out a little bit, but you can't argue with the ops trend, right? Going from a low point last year was 603, which if your ops is 603, you're probably not playing. But damn, you can do a lot worse than 759, where he ended up at the end of last year. And if he can keep improving, if he can get that 800 range, dude, now we're talking like all Big 12, like second, third team, all Big 12.
Yeah. What's been holding Logan back has been the soft tissue.
Right.
He's had, it's either a hamstring or something like that.
Yeah. I think if he's in the lineup every day, dude, you're going to see what kind of talent the guy has.
Do you think he would have stayed in the starting lineup had he not been injured? Is that what you're saying?
He finished the year in the starting lineup.
I know he did. I'm just saying,
hitting 300 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his freshman year, I think he would have stayed in the lineup had he not gotten injured.
Anyway, thought that was worth sharing because it's a really cool trend. And that's why I said MK, like, yeah, we know him, but he also has potential.
Yeah, obviously
probably the least well-known starter on TCU squad. Would you say that?
The best, least well-known starter.
There you go.
Yes.
Obviously, his strength is his on-base percentage. But yeah, like you said, if he could just stay healthy, I got a big hot take when we do the lineups. But if he could just stay healthy, I mean, yeah, like Jacob said, if he could be an all-conference performer.
Yeah. Now, I say that in a vacuum because, damn, this conference is loaded with outfielders.
That's true.
So,
look at Oklahoma State.
Texas Tech, Oklahoma.
Texas is Porter Brown for an 8th year.
I was going to tell y'all earlier about when Kyle asked about how much do they weigh the pitching and the hitting. I think maybe the pitching might be a little more weighted because, like you said, everybody has position players in this conference. Not everybody has as many talented pitchers as TCU.
That's correct. Including the 40 acres, who their pitching is kind of unknown.
Yeah.
Except for LeBaron Johnson and
after him.
Witt is known.
Witt's unknown. Witt's an unknown.
He's known. He is known, but his talent is unknown.
Yeah, but we're getting off topic now.
He's the opposite of Logan Maxwell.
Hey, Martin, you talked about the big names. We've got Luke Boyers, Brody Green, Jake Dewar, and Fisher Ingersoll. Where do you want to hit before we talk about all the newcomers? Because there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
All right. Last starter is Luke Boyers.
Of course.
Luke is extremely interesting. He's been very interesting to me since he stepped on campus. He was part of the 2021 class with Braden Taylor and Elijah Nunez. He hit 307, and he was pretty much a starter all year. But the slugging was so light.
Yes.
He slugged 353 that year, which is pretty crazy when your batting average is 307. I mean,
nothing but singles.
Yeah, you look at Luke Boyer and you're like, this guy's not a slap hitter. Why is his slugging so low? And then he kind of proved it the following year.
Yeah.
He like quadrupled his extra base hits, but he only hit 250, and the strikeouts just took off. The on base dipped. His 2022 season is like a top 5 single season strikeout year. And then
Dude, striking out 28% of the time is just, God, you just don't see that from everyday players. But he's also walking 18% of the time, and it just really depends on the week you're talking about with Boyers. I mean, look at these charts. They're all over the place. You don't know what you're going to get out of this guy.
Isn't it weird?
Does he feel like the scapegoat or the hero, like on any given week? You're like, man,
yeah,
that double. That was awesome today. Like,
if his ops is 700, he's the GOAT. But when his 3 weeks later, when his ops is 800, now he's the hero. It just keeps slingshotting back and forth.
I mean, I think just last year, what do you have, a platinum sombrero? And then a couple weeks later, he's like hitting walk-off bombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Describe the platinum sombrero.
It's a high ceiling and a low floor. Sorry, Martin. Go ahead. Platinum, that's 5 strikeouts, right?
Yeah. Golden sombrero is 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and then a platinum sombrero is 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts.
Anyway, yeah, Luke is probably the most fascinating player we'll ever talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, and it doesn't end in 2022. So last year, his walk rate, so his first 2 years was around 10, and then last year it was almost 17.
Yeah. Yeah, he finished with a career walk rate of 17.5.
And all this time, so his batting average is going down. So he went from 307 his freshman year to last year, he was at 231. But all this time, his slugging is going up. Last year, he had 405 slugging, and his OPS was 806.
Good question from the chat, Jacob. There will be some folks that listen and watch on YouTube. Can you quickly describe your OPS trend, your Ks per 9, and then your
so what I did was just log each game of their career and just track like a rolling ops, strikeout rate, walk rate, slug percentage, on base percentage. So like, for example, strikeout rate, Luke for his career is at 27.4%. That's not what his 2023 was. That's included the 2 years prior. So, yeah, I didn't show these for them to like be the focal point of the conversation. They're just kind of a visual aid for those who can see it without taking anything away from audio listeners.
Everything's got to be about your Excel, skills, whatever.
It's Power BI, but yeah. Anyway, so that's Luke.
Minus the home runs as TCU's Joey Gallo.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, with a slug percentage of 388 is not a power hitter.
No. But he's a good defender as well. I mean,
yeah, that's true. We got to mention that. He is a good defender.
He's one of the better athletes on the team and one of the better base runners, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, we need to wrap up.
Starters.
We need to wrap. We still have other newcomers to get to.
Yeah, Brody Green, Jake Dewar, Fisher Ingersoll, Martin. Quick thoughts on those guys.
Brody Green was a Hall of Fame, if you ask me. He was, I mean, it was like day in, day out. He was like the best player on the team.
In the fall, just in case I didn't come.
Yeah.
That was the Fall of Fame. The Fall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Then other guys, Fisher, coming off an injury, he looked pretty solid in the fall. Jake Dewar, Gabe Miranda had really great falls. I think this is the most loaded we've been on position players, and I just don't know if all these guys are going to get consistent playing time, but Frogs are loaded, and the returning production has a lot to do with that.
Hey, Martin,
Question about returning
choose-
starters. So, do you think these guys will get more playing time early because the coaches are going to like test stuff out, want to see what's going on, or do you think they're going to have a more set lineup?
Let's hold that question till the end.
All right.
Like when we discuss, lineups and stuff. Let's get through all the players first.
We discussed a lot of returning production. It feels like we lost a lot of good players, but we've got a lot of coming back. But now let's talk about newcomers. We've got some transfers coming in quite a bit, as well as some freshmen. Not all of them are going to see the field of play, but a couple of them might. It's my understanding that Jacob and Garrett conducted a draft, a very intense draft to the death about who they want to talk about.
Yeah, we had to steal that idea from Martin and Ray from
So,
last
fellas,
week.
who's up first, and what's your first draft pick for?
Being the man that I am. It takes a big man to do this, but I gave Garrett the 1-1 in the draft.
Yeah, I can't believe that. What a guy.
Yeah,
what a guy.
man would not have done that. But
No, do we want to like maybe both of us go through our transfers first and then touch on freshmen?
You can just know. I just go like I just have mine kind of in a random order. So
Me too. I've in a totally random order. So
let's just alternate, and you can note if they're a transfer or a freshman.
Okay, that'll work. I guess I'll go first then. The first guy I noted is going to be our new starting second baseman, Mr. Peyton Chatinier, coming over from Ole Miss.
Beautiful pronunciation, by the way. I just want to shout that out.
Yeah, I actually practiced that before the pod. I wanted to nail it, and I feel like I nailed it. So go ahead and note the timestamp. This will be his final season of eligibility. He had a heck of a career while he was over at Ole Miss. He's part of that national championship squad they had back in 2022. But as far as last year, he had 51 appearances, 51 games. He saw the plate with 201 appearances. Ended up batting .261 and hit 10 home runs with 26 RBIs and 32 runs scored. Insofar as his whole career thus far at the Rebels, his slash line has been .265, .353, .461 with 31 home runs and 127 RBIs. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but I think it's pretty set in stone. He's going to be our starting second baseman for this year, and he brings a lot of talent. So I think we should all be really excited about him. A lot of veteran leadership in the room is going to be coming from Peyton. I think it's something that some of our younger kids could kind of appreciate having around the clubhouse. So I'm super encouraged about Peyton, man. I think he's going to be a great addition. It's going to be fun to watch him play.
I have a question for you, Uninformed Frog. If Peyton Chatinier did not come to TCU, who would be our starting second baseman?
Oh, that's a good question. Who would be starting in that role? I guess it would be
Ryder Robinson.
Would it be? Huh?
More on that when I get to my players.
That's
I'll
fine.
answer that
I
question.
just didn't know if there was an obvious answer. That's why I asked the question, because there's not an obvious answer, right?
So Micah Kendrick took reps there in the fall, but it would probably be Ryder Robinson.
So it's weird because it second and short are kind of, I mean, they're locked up, right? Where these battles are happening this year is going to be at first and third when it comes to the infield.
Yeah, package that for the next segment.
But they were able to say, "Hey, Peyton, the field is yours," basically, and that's
essentially
why we got
so.
this guy
And he gets to come back from Texas. He's from Cyprus. Gets his last year of college ball right here in Fort Worth.
Are y'all interested in a quick highlight?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I found this highlight today. Jamie had posted a while back. I think we'd first committed, and I was thinking about this a moment ago when we were talking about, dang, shoot, we're losing all this production from stolen bags. Well, have you ever seen anybody steal bags like this?
All right, so the audio is not going to come through because it's not a saved file. So I'll take it upon myself to do play-by-play.
Oh man, this is a nice tryout for later on.
3-1 Ole Miss as we play here in the bottom of the second inning. Peyton Chatagnier takes his lead off first, throw over. They haven't picked off. Throw down to second is not in time. Chatagnier is in with a stolen base on a pickoff throw where he was going on first. Now nobody's covering third base. Chatagnier breaks for third. He'll slide in and take third. Oh my, and now nobody's covering home. Here comes Chatagnier to the plate. Nobody's covering and he scores. Oh my, he stole second, stole third, and stole home. Can you believe it?
Wow, you just took
Watch out, Chuck Lamandola.
I was going to say, the 1950s just got their new play-by-play.
Need to bring that style back, baby.
Oh, man. That was, I believe that was 2022. Is that correct? Anyhow, that season, he stole a total of 6 bases, and that was 3 of them right there. So, fantastic stuff.
Oh, that was his trade day.
Yeah. But
all right.
Anyhow, what do you got next for us?
All right. Let me introduce you all to center fielder Chase Brunson, a 6'3", 190-pound true freshman outfielder. He hits and throws from the right side. He's from San Clemente, California. He was drafted in the 18th round of last year's draft by Toronto. He was a late signee for TCU because he was committed to LMU out in California when TCU was able to flip him. Let's see. So he's a really quick guy, line drive hitter, very smooth swing. He had a really, really great fall where he was able to lock down the center field position. And he is draft eligible after next year. So we get him for 2 years, maybe a third. We'll see how it goes. But he is draft eligible again after 2025. And yeah, I think with Chase Brunson, with him being such a late addition, and he's drafted in the 18th round, which is pretty good out of high school. But like LMU was where he was committed, so we didn't think much about him after he signed. But he just showed out in the fall, and he's pretty clear cut going to be our day one starting center fielder.
How did we get him from LMU, Jacob?
We offered him.
Who's LMU?
Loyola Marymount University.
Oh, that's why. Okay, because we have a known program. Okay.
Yep.
And he's going to be the starter in center field.
Huh?
He's going to start in center field.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like spoiling the next segment by any means. He's far and away like going to be the starting center fielder. It's his to lose. And I'd be shocked if he wasn't in center field all year long.
Sounds like he's Elijah Nunez 2.0.
Yeah, I meant to look into the comparisons of their game. I don't know if he's going to walk.
Did you say how tall again?
He's 6'3", 190. So
yeah,
right
that's
there.
Not Elijah Nunez.
That's not Elijah Nunez, dog.
I was thinking of a freshman that walked in day one.
They do play center field. Yeah.
I watched him a lot over the fall. He's a very good hitter, good contact hitter, doesn't strike out a lot. He has pop. Pretty much everything was being hit to the wall or over the wall. He made some fantastic diving plays. The defense is a plus. Dude's just really great all-around ball player, and he was extremely under the radar. Perfect Game didn't even have him.
All right. Yeah, sorry. I meant to note that, Martin. I'm glad you reminded me. So a big reason why he may have not gotten big offers, and he didn't participate with Perfect Game.
Yeah.
He never went to their camps or anything. Yeah,
they didn't even have like a profile made for him until he committed to TCU. I think if you look up TCU's 2023 class, I still don't think Perfect Game has him listed on their recruiting class.
Yeah, but I'm excited about him. That's why I read him off first. Not that they're in any particular order, but if he's a day one freshman starting center fielder, I don't know where he's going to hit in the lineup. He could hit anywhere like from leadoff to maybe in the 7, 8, 9 hole, but yeah. All right, Garrett, you're next.
Yeah, so next we go to sunny California to get a 6-foot-tall, 195-pound utility infielder in Jack Basir from Pepperdine. he played all over the place for his freshman season last year with Pepperdine. He had some time at first base. He had some time in the outfield, and he had time at third. He said that he feels most comfortable at third base. That's where he's going to be competing for a position this year, along with Ryder and Brody. Anyhow, last year, for his first season, he had a slash line of 345, 418, 512. He appeared in 46 games with 44 of those starts as a utility player. He was a West Coast Conference all-freshman team guy, and he earned a second-team all-West Coast conference honors in 2023. And he led his team at Pepperdine in both hits and batting average, and he only committed 3 errors.
Okay.
5 home runs last year. He definitely has a chance to be the starter day one at third base.
Yeah, I think there were, correct me if I don't know if you know this note, but there were questions about his defense in the fall.
I saw that. But again, I did not see anything definitive as to who's getting the role. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's probably going to be kind of a platoon position, but next time. Okay. Any questions on Jack Basir?
It's Basir, not Basser, right?
I'm pretty dang positive it's
Basir. I think you're correct.
Yeah.
You said any questions? That was my one question. Go for it, Jacob.
No, you never know. It seems like every year baseball players' names get stranger.
All right. Micah Kendrick, 6 foot even. We'll have to fact check that. Don't you get suspicious when it says a 6 foot even? 6 foot even, 185
6
pounds.
foot in spikes.
Yeah. 185-pound freshman infielder. He's a switch hitter from Rockwall, Texas. The number 12 shortstop in the state of Texas. In the fall, he took reps at second base. And I was out there. I got to see one of the Purple White games. And this dude really jumped out at me at the plate. He hit for gap power. I think he even hit a home run in that game. I don't remember, but I do remember he hit a ball in the gap and round second, slides into third. And if his mother's listening, she'll probably kill me for telling this story. A great kid. But he gets up in this mostly empty stadium and gives the loudest LFG I've ever heard on a baseball field. And I said, that's it.
What does that stand for?
He said the letters only. Is that correct, Jacob? Just want to make sure.
Well, I'm sure that's what
this
his
is
mother
a Christian school.
Yeah, that's what his mother would have preferred. But I instantly had a new favorite player. That was so awesome. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes for him this year. Like I said, he did take reps at second, but probably more of a 2025 guy. Garrett, you're up.
Yeah, so next on my list, the guy who doesn't need much introduction from this pod, it's going to be Mr. Tolley himself. I think all the listeners.
Hold on, I cannot believe we went this long without talking about Peyton Tolley. This is crazy.
Hold on, let's pull back the curtain. I think Tolley went third round in our draft.
I was gonna. Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all are some haters.
No kidding.
It's like when you don't pick your starting quarterback first.
Yeah, no. We talked about him so much.
Disrespect.
There's just not much more to add about our big 6'6" lefty here.
This is zero RB strategy right here. Just
we're going to be.
I just wanted to study some new guys that I haven't really looked into as much as Tolley.
Oh, so
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to be hearing his name so much this year. We're going to be hearing his name all the time. He's going to be TCU's Jack Caglione. I can't wait. He's going to hit for power.
Fatigue on Tolley already is insane.
I'm so high on Tolley. I can't wait. He hit 311 last year. His OBP was 361 with 13 home runs and 50 ribbies. Let's go. I can't wait.
He's the real deal, man. He's the real deal.
He is the absolute real deal. So I think the interesting conversation with him, which we'll probably have to talk about later, is where we're going to stick him when he's not pitching, because we have our situation over at over at first base / DH and all that fun. But insofar as how he's going to produce, I can't wait.
Question about Peyton. Will he hit regardless of his defensive position for that game?
That's a good question. I assume so. I haven't read anything to the contrary.
Yes.
All right. Jackson Day in the chat, which, again, shout out to everybody who's watching this on YouTube and commenting in the comment section. Over under 30 home runs.
Under.
Hard under.
Third is a lot.
Yeah.
30 is a lot.
If
That's a lot
you
of
would have
home
said 20, I might have.
Yeah, let's change it to
given
20.
it a
You
thought.
can't really entice me at 30, but at 20, let's go.
runs. Put me on record, Jackson. 31. I'm going over.
Yeah.
He's going to obliterate TCU's home run record.
I'm taking, yeah.
I think he might.
22 and a half.
Dude, I'm taking the under 20, but yet have like a first team all Big 12 season. Just
Yeah,
with a
Doesn't
lot of,
17 feel right for Tolley?
huh?
Doesn't 17 feel right?
Yeah, and that's an amazing season.
It
I
feels
think-
fantastic.
I mean, I'm like maybe 10% chance he actually gets over 30, but I think he's gonna get.
Over 30?
I think he's gonna get.
Are you high?
I think he's gonna get very close to 30. I watched him, dude.
Dude, we are winning the Natty if he's hitting 30 bombs.
We're calling the Natty right now. Are we doing
I've
that?
been saying we're gonna win a Natty.
I know you have.
Like, all of this is very consistent. I watched Peyton Tolley a lot in the fall. I watched him
I
take.
know you
BT.
did. I know.
Dude, I got a note here from somebody who's at every practice. He says in about 60 at bats, he's hit 14 home runs in games.
Okay.
25% home runs. That's all I hear. That's all I see.
So
I mean,
That's a home
maybe
run
concerned about frog ball pitching.
So he's going to hit 50 plus home runs.
Yeah, Ray, exactly.
No,
Maybe
Ray,
that's
don't
the
talk-
discussion.
I don't want to hear that, Ray. I don't want to hear it.
I don't
Sounds
think
like our
30.
pitchers have a home run problem.
All right. I think he could hit 17 home runs and have an ops of 1,100 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Braden
sounds-
Taylor like.
And Martin's like, yeah, halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
Who's
the
the
end of
one?
March.
So, question: who's the last guy that was a lefty that could that had that much power?
Braden Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Josh Watson.
I'm just thinking of home runs to Bel Air. That's
I'll
all
be
I want.
soccer.
I want a
Josh
home run
Watson.
over the shrubs.
Josh
into Bel
Watson,
Air.
dude. Josh Watson hit one on the street.
There you go. Good recall.
But yeah, Braden Taylor is your most recent guy. All right. I'm up.
Highlight Jackson's comment. That's funny.
You highlight it.
I can't.
Which one? Jackson comments like one a minute. There it is. Which we appreciate.
Who hits
hit
more
more
home
home
runs this year? The TCU pitching staff or the Baylor Bears?
Oh my god.
Dude, if that stat becomes a reality, that would be hilarious.
Hold on.
Well,
Everybody.
I mean,
keep
if he's
laughing. I'm
hitting 31 home runs, it may damn well be
It very well could happen.
pitching staff.
Is Hunter Toplansky on the Baylor pitching staff? Because he might help.
I'm gonna clip that. That's great.
That's awesome.
Okay. Let's go to Jack Arthur. Kind of an old man name, huh?
Yeah, it sounds
In
like
line with your 1950s
no,
commentator guy.
And
sounds
next
like
up
a-
at the Blitz,
it sounds like a
Jack
Netflix
Arthur.
episode or
Jack
Netflix
Arthur
series.
stepping up to the plate.
You see?
6 foot even. Again, let's fact check. 200-pound redshirt sophomore outfielder. He's
So you're saying I have a
righty.
chance?
He transferred from Weatherford, which is a junior college out west of here. He was first team All-American JUCO. And look, I know these are JUCO numbers, but 20 home runs and a 1297 ops. I mean, the dude was hitting like at least a double every at bat with those kind of numbers. He's out of Flower Mound High School. So I'm going to save my next
You
for the
know
next.
the last TCU product out of Flower Mound High School.
Preston Morrison.
Cameron Brown.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to save my last note for the next segment because we'll just like lose focus.
Garrett, you're up.
Okay, I've got Tres Mas. So let's go with the freshman. Let's go with Zach Wattis. Zach Wattis, the 6'4", 200-pound freshman out of Arizona. He went to Hamilton High School. Fun fact, it's the same school that Cole Klecker attended. So fun fact there. He was ranked number 93 nationally by Perfect Game. He was ranked second in the state of Arizona. He got reps at first base. But it'd be interesting to see kind of what happens to that position. Again, he did get reps, but anyhow, he looks like he's really good. He looks like he's a really physical, large freshman, and be fun to see what he does.
Okay, good stuff. Hold on, I was tweeting. Okay, let's go to Ryder Robinson, 6'2", 185-pound freshman infielder, switch hitter. He's from Cedar Hills, Utah, so we keep that Utah pipeline going. He was actually high school teammates with Fisher Ingersoll, and I wonder if they were rivals with Braden Taylor, or Braden Taylor. The age gap's probably too much. Anyway, just thinking on the fly.
They were in middle school.
So he's in the mix at third base this year, probably next year shortstop. Any questions on old Ryder Robinson?
That is Martin's favorite player.
Yeah, I know. Well, next segment. Okay,
cool.
Let's wrap up these last couple quickly.
You got it. Next guy here, also a freshman. I've listed all these guys as starting or competing, or might get time. I have this guy is listed as competing. Should get time. That is Mr. Sam Myers from Cypress, Texas. He is a perfect grade of 7.5. He was ranked as number 8 outfielder in the state of Texas by Perfect Game. And again, he will likely not get a starting role. We'll get to that in the next segment, but he will compete. He should get time in the outfield this year.
Okay. Camden Sose, 6'3", 200-pound freshman infielder.
Is it Sose? Is it Sose or Sauce?
Oh, it'd be so cool if it was Sauce.
It's Sauce.
It would be really cool.
Hell yeah! All right.
Wait, what was that, Martin?
Yeah, it is Sauce.
Hell yeah!
I want to get lost in the sauce,
dude. The memes are just going crazy in my head right now. All right, Camden Sauce, 6'3", 200-pound freshman infielder, righty from Alpine, California.
That's Carson Sauce.
He has good power. He's in the mix at third base in the fall. In high school, he primarily played shortstop, but that just tells me that he's a great athlete that can play anywhere. And I have him listed as probably a 2025 guy.
Okay. Show good power in fall.
Yeah, I said that. As I said,
my last
COVID.
Oh yeah, my last guy is Mr. Tim Reynolds. He's a catcher. I'm going to see him maybe having a hard time getting in there this season, but he is a sophomore transfer from Odessa College. He played one season over there, appearing in 37 games. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, it's kind of interesting. 6 of his 23 hits went for extra bases. That's kind of fun. He did total over 17 RBIs last year and stole 10 bags. So that is Tim Reynolds out of Allen.
And we'll finish
under 15 at bats for Tim this year.
Yeah. We'll finish with Dalen Leach. He is a transfer catcher from North Florida. He's here to provide depth. Welcome to the team, Dalen Leach. Okay. That
Martin, I really want to start this with Martin. on the projected lineup standpoint. So I want him to project his lineup, and then I want Jacob, Ray, Garrett, I want you to, debate whether or not you agree or disagree.
All right, let's do it this way. Each of us get one disagree.
One veto.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Martin, start us off.
Do you want me to go through the whole lineup or like stop at each thing?
We'll stop at each one, see if there's any vetoes.
And this isn't batting order, right? This is just positions.
I would prefer it if it's just positions.
Yes, we don't need to get too far in the weeds with batting order. That'll work itself out.
All right.
And this is, I mean, it's not necessarily like do you want opening day or do you want like who's going to play the most games at each position?
I want who's going to play in the final to win the championship. But, whatever.
Who's first on the frog pile in Omaha?
All right. Because all three of these are extremely different.
Carson Bowen.
I'm going to start at DH and go.
Wait, hold on. One more question. Are we letting him get all the way through? Or do we get to yell veto at the first opportunity?
I was hoping for a discussion after every.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, DH, Peyton Tolley. Catcher, Carson Bowen. First base, Curtis Byrne. Second base, Ryder Robinson.
What?
All right, let the man finish.
There it is, Martin.
Shortstop, Anthony Silva. Third base,
Dramatic pause.
Brody Green.
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere else.
Not sure where else I could go. Right field, Logan Maxwell.
In right field?
Yes.
Okay.
Center field, Chase Brunson. Left field, Jack Basier.
What?
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
These are very different lineups.
All right.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go first. I know what you're doing at second base. You think Ryder Robinson is the better overall talent, and he might be. But what does Peyton Chatagnier have to do to lose that job to Ryder Robinson? Because I think at this point in Peyton's career, you're going to get a pretty consistent player.
Yeah, dude, if the question was who's going to play the most games or who's going to start opening day, it's probably Peyton Chatagnier for both of those.
Of course. So how does Ryder Robinson become your second baseman?
I think just being a very good baseball player. Like we said, I love Ryder Robinson.
I know.
I love his game. He's going to be number 0 this year.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. He is going to be number 0.
Back-to-back years of number 0 hitting 3 home runs in a regional.
I mean, I like it, dude. I love Ryder Robinson. I want there to be a spot for him, but at the same time, like, there is value in just experience, age, and leadership.
I mean, he asked for the hottest take lineup.
I know. And with that
said
comes
what would be the lineup, not the hottest take lineup.
So is this?
Dude, I'm with you. I want it to happen. I'm just trying to offer, debate.
He's saying Peyton is like Mason Hess, right? Great.
Oh, he's better than Mason Hess.
He's better than Mason Hess. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Better than Mason Hess, dog. I love Mason Hess.
Ryder Robinson is a really good baseball player, and
not Ryder. I'm saying Peyton. I'm saying,
Well, okay, look, 2021. What was his name? Third baseman.
Braden Taylor.
Before Braden Taylor.
Connor Shepard.
Connor Shepard is one of my favorite, TCU baseball players ever.
Same.
He started the season at third base. He was your opening day third baseman.
Yep.
Braden Taylor just came in there because he was such a good baseball player, and he finished the next 3 seasons at third base.
And
so Ryder Robinson is Braden Taylor now.
Yeah, they're both from Utah.
Okay.
Real quick, what did you see from Ryder that led you to believe he's going to be a starter for this team?
I mean, he hits well from both sides. He's a extremely, plus defender in the infield. Dude's just a baller, and I like it. Period.
No, all right.
All right. So that's.
Another thing I heard was Jack Basir in the outfield.
Yeah.
What do you guys got on that?
I mean, Jack Basir, he can play pretty much any position on the corners. That was the thing when he entered the portal. He said he could play first base, third base, and the corner outfields. I think it's more Brody Green takes over at third base more than Jack Basir loses the position at third base.
See, I had Basir at third for my opening day lineup, but I can see where you're coming from.
I think it's going to be Brody. I think it's going to be Brody, but it remains to be seen if Brody can keep up even like 2/3 of what he produced in the fall. If he can, then he's going to be an all-year third baseman. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the best defender over at third too.
I think Ryder was.
Oh, right. Okay.
But Brody got a ton of playing time at shortstop.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the point of that? Just having experience?
I mean,
Silva didn't play
purple. Yeah, Silva was out, and then it was the purple-white. So they needed 2 shortstops, and Silva was out. So.
And you said Basir had a tough fall defensively, but last season he only had. I thought did one of y'all say that?
I didn't say that.
He only had 2 errors last season.
I think in an interview with Kirk and Jamie, I think he mentioned Basir has to improve defensively.
Okay. All right. I'm tracking.
But one thing I did hear about Basir is that he is extremely hot at the plate right now.
Yeah. Dude, this is so fascinating because this lineup could go in a million different directions. And
we have so many good players.
Yeah.
It's an abundance of riches. It really is. It's just like we were talking about with trying to figure out rotation in the bullpens. Abundance of riches this year, guys.
So why do you have gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Logan Maxwell in right field. No.
On the bench.
I think Logan Maxwell is a good defender in the outfield, and I think right field is harder to play at Lupton than left field is.
Do you worry about his arm strength out there?
Now I do.
That's what jumped out at me when you said right field was immediately his arm strength.
I mean, you could flip him with Basir. I don't really know Basir's defense in the outfield either.
Do you think Sam Myers could have a chance at playing left field?
Oh, yeah. Sam Myers was a guy. You guys didn't talk about him, did you?
We did.
We did.
You did?
I have some for my outfield. I have Myers, Brunson, Maxwell.
All right. So here's my thing, real quick. So, am I the one echoing?
Yeah, you are.
I don't think I was before, but anyway. Okay.
Just scan the Zen QR code. I think you'll be fine.
No, I muted and unmuted. Hopefully that helped for some reason. But here's my thing with the outfield. I think we have a shit ton of talent out there. Like, Martin, you didn't even mention Jack Arthur, and he was the one battling with Boyers in the fall for that right field spot. God bless Luke Boyers, and I hope he has an amazing year and he wins like All-American. But I just don't see how he's going to hold on to that position all year with the talent in the outfield.
He's got a lot of experience, Jacob.
He does.
You can't measure that. You can't measure grit.
Isn't that the same argument for Peyton Chatnier?
But that's just one position. There's 3 in the outfield.
I heard the talent in the outfield is like big time. And when I was at practice, I think I texted this to you, Jacob. Luke Boyers was getting reps at third base.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I thought it was interesting.
Breaking news.
I thought it was interesting. I was told it might be bigger than I thought it was originally.
Wow.
Something to keep an eye on.
I have some questions for y'all. You want to hear them?
Yeah, the echo's getting worse on all of us, I think.
Can you mute for a second to see if it gets better?
Yeah, I muted and then I heard you echo.
Am I
think it's
echoing
kind
now?
of across the board here at this point.
Yeah, let's just try to fight through it till the end. We're an hour and a half now.
Which freshman will have the greatest impact on 2024? Lineup.
Freshman?
Lineup. Not pitcher, but lineup.
Chase
Brunson.
Chase Brunson.
Yeah, got to be Brunson.
Outside of Brunson, which freshman could or transfer
Or transfer?
Peyton Tolle.
will take a starter's job? Will take
Okay.
a starter's job.
Basir.
Jack Arthur.
Sam Myers.
Oh, sorry. You said transfer.
Okay,
My
can you
bad.
say the name and then which job they're going to take, y'all?
Jack Arthur in right field.
Sam Myers in left field.
Over Logan?
Logan moves over to right.
Oh my God, Logan's
Give
not
me-
playing freaking right field.
Give me Jack at third base until
Okay, I like
that gets blown up by what Martin just said.
I do like Sam Myers though, Ray. I think if not Jack Arthur, then Sam Myers.
Sam Myers.
I guess I'll go with Ryder Robinson, second base.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
committed
no.
now.
No kidding.
Committed
I'm
to
shocked. I'm shocked that you said that. How many strikeouts is Luke Boyers from the TCU record?
50.
Will he achieve that record?
No.
It's a lofty
very-
goal, but
It's
we
very
can-
possible.
we can see it.
He will.
He's had 2 seasons with over 50 strikeouts.
Dallin Leach, transfer catcher from North Florida, will play in blank number of games this year.
0.
I'll say 1.
Yeah, somewhere between 3 and 0.
Now I have a question for y'all.
Hold on.
if I can-
Kyle, so you said games played, period. Like he could come in as a defensive replacement? Okay,
Correct.
yeah. I'll say 1.
That's all we got from him. That's it?
Sorry, I missed the
No,
question
lot of-
because we got a DM from someone who wants to come on the pod at some point. So
Nice.
Is it Luke Boyers?
no, we'll keep that a mystery. Yeah, we can plug this guy in right now. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get him on though.
I have a question for y'all. Does Carson Bowen's injuries over the fall, surgery on the shoulder, then he breaks his hamate bone in the fall, does that worry you headed into the 2024 season?
I mean, I'm no physical whatever doctor, but don't those heal? And they're not like lingering injuries, right?
You're correct, Jacob. And also, one of the surgery he had on his shoulder was from something that was bothering him all year. So with that gone, he could be better.
Yeah, probably hit for more power.
Yeah. And
Good
he
question, though.
saw him at practice. He's extremely healthy, or looks extremely healthy. Says he's good to go.
My thinking behind that was just missing that time, getting reps in the cage and all that.
I don't think he don't. No, that doesn't worry me at all.
And I think this year it's not going to be like last year where he's like the only catcher on the roster and has to catch every single game. I think he'll get, some time off from catching specifically and play, some first base.
DH, yeah.
Yeah.
The lineup is going to be just fascinating game in and game out because just all the moving pieces with Tolle being a two-way player. You have 50-50 catchers and first base rotating, third base possibly rotating. I mean, the lineup, I think it's going to look vastly different. Now, the good thing about their schedule is they play so many like 4 and 5 or like 5-game weeks. Like they have these extra midweek games early on to, figure all that out.
Who's
All
going
right,
to lead the team in
we're
homers,
officially at
fellas?
90 minutes. So
Who's going to lead the team in homers?
Peyton Tolley.
Ryder Robinson.
Oh my God.
Damn it,
Out
Jay.
here.
Peyton Tolley.
Peyton Tolley, but I think I don't know. Peyton Tolley's tough, man. But I really, really like Silva going into this year. I
Okay.
really like Carson.
Let's ask it like this. Does this TCU team this year hit more or less home runs than the TCU team last year? 89 is your benchmark.
No, they do not. All right.
I think we're going to be under.
Scott Dedamore says,
It'll be
"Who's?"
close.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off the answers, but I just want to get these chat questions in. Who is your prediction for breakout player of the year? So breakout. So that pretty much takes out Silva, Tolley, Carson, Curtis.
It's funny
I'm gonna
that wasn't Tolley like breakout player of the year for the Big 12. I thought it was
I
hilarious.
think it was
No, he was
Newcomer.
Newcomer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats
Newcomer. Yeah.
on being new to baseball, son.
No, new to the Big 12, dog. That's the way those.
I understand. It's just funny to me.
That's a good question. Let's go. And it can't really be a freshman, right? Because that's not really breakout. It's got to be. So
Brody
Logan
Green's the
Maxwell-
obvious answer, right?
Then, yeah, Brody Green.
No, Logan Maxwell. I think Logan Maxwell is the odds-on favorite.
Yeah. Trading in the direction for that. I think
What's
that's
crazy
a good
is
pick.
Logan would
Maxwell.
not be breakout per the LDC because we've been following.
Yeah,
him, right?
I would. I didn't even consider Logan.
But he would be a breakout compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, healthy Logan Maxwell will hit like 310 this year, 315.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to see if we missed any more.
I'll go Brody
Get out of
Green.
here. Huh?
Brody Green.
Brody's a good answer. I just, I'm just kind of in a wait and see with Brody.
Same.
Another question from Hayden Maxwell. Do y'all think Silva will make remotely close to the stats Braden Taylor this season,
Oh, yeah,
minus
I did see- I
minus
can't
the home
find it.
runs? Baseball ranking seems to be dissing his overall potential this season.
They're dissing. They have him like the number 3 shortstop in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minus the home runs, I'd probably say absolutely, man.
I don't
Who's
know.
to say he can't hit 23 home runs? Hell, Martin has
I mean-
Tolley hitting 31. Why not?
Just the bomb squad this year.
Yeah. The
That
frog bomb.
batter's eye is going to make
All right. What
all
if
the
we
difference.
went back?
Yeah.
If we go back to the breakout question and include freshmen, then does that change your answer? Because
Yes.
the way we had
Sam
it,
Myers,
Probably. Sam
pretty much
Myers
just
out in
easy.
the outfield would be fantastic.
Martin's going to say Ryder Robinson.
Chase Brunson.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I consider Chase, like, if you're an opening day starter, I don't know. This seems more newcomer.
so
Then
like
you
Brody-
would say,
Man,
like,
y'all are
Peyton
making up
Tolley,
so many
right?
rules for breakout player of the year.
Well, then why wouldn't you say Peyton Tolley?
because he's already
Because-
achieved such a high level.
And he didn't include transfers. He just said freshman.
I mean,
Freshman-
include everybody at this point, but
Okay.
that's going to eliminate Silva, Bowen, and Tolley because, like, the room to increase is so much lower on those guys.
I mean, it would have to be like 40 home runs for.
Which I
Tolley.
mean, in your world, he's going to do that.
Well, yeah. What's his name?
I want to live in Martin's world then. Let's go.
Try it.
Well, this
All
is
praise to
we're
all
just
praise
living-
to Peyton Tolley, our baseball god, according to Jackson Day.
Golden Spikes.
All glory to Martin.
Dude, we
Oh.
still have hella live stream viewers.
I know.
Why?
We're at over an hour and a half, and we are kind of running out of steam and things
Because
to
the
talk about.
content is
You guys are
fire,
sickos.
boys.
You're sickos.
Just a
for
lot of
watching
good
this garbage.
There's a lot of good baseball nerds out there, boys.
Shout out to Ben Upton. If you guys haven't seen that interview yet, it's on YouTube. Go check that out. A lot of good conversation, but they covered 30 conferences in an hour and 20 minutes today on their podcast.
We could never.
We're covering half of one team in an hour and 35
Hour and a
minutes.
half.
But
It
here's
took
the
us
thing.
an hour and a half.
I already told you guys this via text. D1, I love D1. They do a great job covering all of college baseball. However, their TCU preview is Kendall. I know you're listening, so listen to this. Your preview of TCU is not sufficient for our needs. Thank you for all of the work that you do. But we go in depth. We're talking about freaking Ryder Robinson cutting out Peyton Chatinier at second base, and you guys can't even say his name correctly. So you have to,
I'm not even 100% sure we are.
You have to call. You have to call up somebody to figure out how to say Peyton Tolle instead of Tolly.
Peyton Tolle himself corrected us on that.
We are your preeminent TCU baseball pod,
Tolle.
and we are grateful for everybody chiming in tonight. Last thoughts, anybody, before we get out of here?
I don't know. I'm pretty thoughted out.
Just
COVID
give me
sucks.
opening day already. That's all I've got. I can't wait anymore.
Don't recommend COVID.
All right,
Kenneth,
wait.
and don't
Okay, I'm
recommend.
sorry. Since we've already gone way past our time limit anyway, what's your biggest concern or reason why TC will underachieve this year?
Sophomore slumps.
That's my answer too.
Sophomore slumps in a second year in a row. Well, we're gonna probably see a lot of freshman contribution, and I feel like high-level freshman contribution. I don't have any stats to back this up. That feels like a hard thing to replicate year over year.
I'd say leadership. We're losing some transfers. Austin Davis and Trey. Obviously,
I'm not concerned about leadership. because
Braden
you have
Taylor.
Curtis Byrne.
and Cole Fontenelle. So those guys. We have more leadership. I feel like on the pitching side than we do offensive side.
Dude, you're discrediting Curtis Byrne. That dude is.
I'm not discrediting anybody.
He's Captain
what I'm
America.
saying is, if we have more starting pitching back than we do on the offensive side, I'm worried about a lot of ball games trying to go, win 2-0, 3-1.
Do y'all worry about the defense taking a step back?
No, the
Because,
defense is going to be elite.
Third base was locked down. I mean, that whole left side of the infield.
Brody Green, he doesn't have to be a plus defender. He just has to be average because you have plus defenders everywhere else on the field. Like D1 gave us a 70 grade, which is like almost a perfect grade on defense.
Martin, what's your biggest concern for the season?
Florida in the semifinals.
Jack Caglione versus Peyton Tolle on the mound. Let's go.
All right. Apparently, we missed a
Must watch
question.
television.
Y'all never
TCU
answered my question from Hayden Maxwell on if y'all think TCU will have a Vandy championship style pitching staff this season.
No.
I don't know about that. I mean, which year?
Andy always has when they're winning championships, has
First round draft pick
one
pitchers.
1-1s.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
think
not
of
going to be
David
that good.
Price, Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter. We haven't had that kind of talent.
It could compete with best in the conference, but not best in the country.
Until we get to Omaha, and then all bets are off, right?
It's just an
Anything goes.
extremely balanced team, like with very, very few weaknesses, if any.
Yeah.
Ray, I
would agree
sincerely
with that.
hope you feel better in the next coming days. Thank you guys for listening to Postgame Beers podcast, especially those to you live tonight. Hayden Maxwell, Jackson Day, my dog in the background barking. Appreciate you being here live. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Lupton Beers.
Yeah,
And
if you
love you
can't
guys.
get a hold of us, it's your fault.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.